Hello, everybody. This is Joe the Lawyer. Welcome to another episode of Analog Man Cave. Today, we're talking about initiative because playing my 2E game last night, I realized something that's I didn't like. All right, so I was using group initiative. It's just a simple, basic group initiative, and each side rolls a d6 every round of combat. Right, and so I thought that's good because the players get to strategize a little bit and figure out what they want to do for a few seconds. Oh, you do this, I'll do that. Okay, boom, 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 go. All right, so that's fine, and that's what I like about it personally as a player. I would prefer that because I'm running a players sort of jump in right and say, all right, let's do this, let's do that, right. So it gets things moving, and I also like it as a DM because it's faster. It makes things a little bit easier, and I like rolling every single round because I like how that changes the dynamic of a fight. You ever see a boxing match when somebody just is getting the crap kicked out of them, and then next thing you know, all of a sudden the other guy, he just gets a lucky shot, and then he starts kicking the crap out of the other side. And I look at that as initiative. Like he gained the initiative, and now it's him going, him going, him going, right? And so he's beating the shit out of someone like a Mike Tyson deal. And just don't bite his ear off. But that's what I like about in the simple basic D6 initiative system. Now, what I've noticed last night, though, we had I think with 5 players, right? And I noticed that it's always the same few people who jump in and start speaking up and then going first. Okay. And what that leads to are some people who don't, if you're not like aggressive, or if you're not the type that always jumps in first and says, I want to do this, I want to do that. If you're the type that sits back, you're generally going to go at the end. And then your options are limited, right? Your combat options are kind of limited because situationally, the other players may have already moved forward and done their thing, and you're like, well, I got it, no bow, I can't shoot anybody, and I guess I'm just gonna wait my turn out here and see what happens next time, right? But the next time comes around, and once again, they're a little slow in reacting or doing something, and that could be for a variety of reasons. It could be just the nature of their personality. It could be that they're a thinker rather than jump into the action quick without thinking type of person. It could be like we have a player in our group who has a hearing issue, so we trying to make sure he grasps everything, understands everything, and then by the time he does, it's like, oh shit, it's too late to do anything effective. It could be because people have attention span issues. For a variety of reasons, just people have attention span issues, whether health, sickness, past, whatever, that happened to them. So if you have attention span issues, you're trying to maybe pay attention, but you're not getting it all. And so by the time you get into the action, you're sort of you're done. The action's over. You can't fit in. It's and going around the table is one thing. I guess I could do, but I think that's kind of boring. It takes away some of the dynamism from the whole situation. So I decided I'm going to start using the individual initiative rules for second edition, and of course I'm going to modify them because with all things second edition they're kind of clunky. So I'm gonna modify the 2E rules, right? So take a quick look here. This is the 2E player's handbook, and they talk about the combat sequence. All right. The DM decides what actions the monsters and NPCs are going to do. The players indicate what the characters would do. Initiative is determined, and attacks are made in order of initiative. Well, I'm not going to ask them to declare their actions ahead of time. That's just a pain in the ass. It's an extra layer that we don't need, right? I'll decide in my head what I'm going to do with the monsters or whatever, and then they're going to roll initiative. Now, initiative in in second edition is a D10, and the lowest number wins, right? And normally, what they do here, it's a group initiative system. Let me just preface this by the first thing I do is always surprise if applicable. Then we go into all those sorts of things. But initiative here, standard initiative. The player rolls. One person rolls for the players. The other person, another DM rolls for the monsters, and the low number wins. And then if it's a tie, everything happens simultaneously, right? Then there's initiative modifiers you could always throw in there if you want to. I am going to use table 55, the standard modifiers to initiative. It's the basic stuff. Hasted, slowed, higher ground, set to receive a charge, slippery footing, deep water, foreign environment, hindered, waiting, certain things like that. They're basics. I am not going to use the optional modifiers because that's where it goes all kinds of batshit crazy. If you're attacking with a weapon, use your weapon speed. Hell no. Breath weapon, casting a spell, your casting time. No, we're not counting segments. Hell no. Creature size. Way no. No. If you're gargantuan, you're plus 12 to your initiative. No, I'm not going to do that. If you notice plus 12 is a bad thing, it means you're slower because the low number rolls, low roll wins. And then for the type of magic item, then, or my God, I mean, the casting time to spell for the scrolls, it's just what a pain in the ass. I remember we tried to do that back in the day. It was just a real pain in the ass. So they have a group initiative. See, table 56, the optional modifiers to initiative, that goes to the optional group initiative roll, where each side rolls an initiative die and each individual player applies the modifiers. Okay, so in other words, if I rolled a 7, right, for my side, and I'm a player, and I happen to be a small player, right? Maybe I'm I don't know, a leprechaun or something like that. Then I add +3, right? Tiny adds 0. So little things like that. Each person modifies it off of 1 dice rolled for the whole side. I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is individual initiative, and they talk about how hard it is and complicated and whatnot, but I'll tell you, basically every player is going to roll a d10. Every player is going to apply their own personal standard modifiers to initiative. All right, this table 55. And then the other thing I'm adding in there, because I was really surprised that they didn't have this in second edition, is the reaction adjustment, right? I thought reaction adjustment applied to both initiative and to surprise, but it doesn't. So I was kind of shocked. Let me scroll up here. It's under your ability scores. It's your dex, right? So if you look at, whoop, I think I just passed it. So let me scroll back a little bit. Yeah. So dexterity has a few things that it could affect in this game, right? It's one of them is your reaction adjustment, which that only affects surprise, as you could see. The missile attack adjustment, that's the bonus to hit if you're using a missile weapon, a bow, or a thrown weapon. And then the defensive adjustment, that goes to AC. I always in my head assumed reaction meant both reaction to surprise and reaction to initiative, but it doesn't. So what I'm going to do is say the reaction adjustment, which if you're at 18, it's only +2. I'm just going to say that as a negative. So essentially, if you rolled an 8 and you have an 18 dex, it's now a 6. Okay. And you say, well, that sounds like a real pain in the ass, Joe. How are we going to keep track of every single round you're going to do that? Yes, I am. Here's how I'm going to do it. All right. Roll20 has a good system here. You just have all the players have their names in the turn order, okay, and they would just roll, all right? So D10 -2, because let's say they had an 18 dex. Boom, 1. All right, so that means just in case, which is the backup character for Dwayne, which he's already using, has a 1, right? So basically, each player is tasked to rolling their own initiative, modifying it as proper. Ask me if you have any questions according to that weird chart, or if you think you might have a quick argument, not don't be a goddamn scrounge for well, why shouldn't I get a little bit of bonus here because of blah blah blah, or why shouldn't the monster get a penalty because of blah blah blah. I'll think about it, rule on it, and be done with it, right? That's what I'm going to do. And I think it's easy because they can actually adjust their own numbers in the turn order here, right? So once I say, okay, the monsters have rolled, you guys have rolled, enter your own initiatives into the turn order, and then this thing sorts it for you. I could sort it by descending, or I could sort it by ascending. So Findalin goes, just in case goes, Argyle goes, Mac goes, Tucky goes. It's easy, right? And then each turn, everybody would do a new roll. It's really simple and basic. I think it'll work better. And I think that having an initiative every round where everybody has to roll, it keeps people's attention more focused on the game. Because sometimes if you're not, like I said before, a type of person, a type of player who's always, intent on watching everything that goes on and whatnot, if you're distracted, if you got things going on, the kids are fighting, the wife's yelling at you, whatever the case may be, right? You're distracted. I think rolling initiative every round brings you back into the game a little bit better. It makes you pay attention a little bit more. So I think that's a good thing. All right. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do. And that's kind of why I did it. I have the rules here and I've updated my house rules. Okay. So I put them on, we could go to my Analog Man Cave website, and I'm going to put the link in here for you guys so you could see this. Okay. So I put initiative up here. Each PC rolls a D10, deducts their dexterity reaction modifier from it. Lowest roll goes first, modified by table 55. You're not using 56. You do not need to declare your actions before initiative. Here's one little thing I put in there. If you get multiple attacks in one round, they both happen on your turn. Now, something that came up the other night, that I was thinking about too. Holding action. All right. You must declare a specific thing, and it happens simultaneously in the round with the action you're holding it for. If the thing does not happen, you lose the ability to act in that round. You wasted it. Here's the thing I put in there because they had this weird rule in this for initiative and multiple attacks, depending on how you get the multiple attacks. If it's Ranger versus, it's just a pain in the ass. They made it too complicated. I made it simple. If you get multiple attacks in one round, you cannot choose to hold one attack and make another. They're either both held or they're both used. Okay. Attacks of opportunity are a thing, but you could also disengage. You have to use an entire round of combat to move up your half of your move and disengage without triggering any attacks of opportunity. All right. So you'll also notice that I rearranged a few things. Underneath the criticals, I brought all the death, dying, and healing rules into one place. So that's a little bit easier to reference before they were scattered about a little bit. Maybe a 2E's organizational system has affected me and I had everything scattered here. But so you guys, I'll give you a link to link below there in the description. You could click on and check out the house rules if you like it. And let me know what you think. What do you guys do? Do you do group initiative? Do you do individual initiative? What do you like about it? What don't you like about it? What do you like about mine? What don't you like about mine? And please do me a favor, though. Like and subscribe to this video if you can. Subscribe to my channel because I'm trying to get up to 2,000. I'm closing in. I'm in the 1,600s now. I think I'd like to get to 2,000 by the time ShireCon rolls around in September. That'd be a nice little milestone. Okay, so please help me get up to 2,000 subscribers. If you like it, share it out there and click that little button and we'll be good to go. All right. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Have a great day.